Habibi, welcome to the Saudi Pro League Central. What an incredible game we've had. Ups and downs. For Ahli fans, we thought that we'd be able to get that win in terms of Hilal. We were hoping that Ahli would be able to get that win. And that's how the game started off initially when we had Mahrez whipping in that ball and Ibanez, who was struggling quite a lot against Musa Diaby at the beginning. Musa Diaby had him on toast to start with initially, to a point where Ibanez was actually sat on the side of the pitch, and it looked like he could potentially go off with a hamstring to start off with. But Ibanez really picked himself up, and he had some cover, some support from Mohamed Suleiman in the end to say, look, this guy, in terms of his advantage, it's the pace. Deal with it. But Ibanez reminds me of Ricardo Calafiori. Might not be the fastest in the world, but in terms of his football intelligence, it really grew into the game. But anyway, Mahrez does that thing that I hate, whipping it with his left from a corner that's on the right, where you think, oh my God, this ball can actually go out to play. But he's whipped it in. Ibanez rose above Danilo Pereira to absolutely hammer home a crazy, crazy header of a goal. So that was 1-0 to Al Ahli. The stadium was going nuts. The green and black flags were everywhere. And some bin bags were being thrown onto the pitch. Now, I think what I found particularly a little bit weird is somebody who's new to the Saudi Pro League, what does those bin bags mean? Because if the bin bags were just yellow, purely yellow, then I understand those are Ittihad colors. So I don't know. Maybe that's to say you guys are shit. But the bin bags were black and green and yellow. So it could potentially still mean that you guys are shit, but the bin bags were out. And then after that, Musa Diaby, who had a fantastic start to the game, and then sort of just did it away in the end, really, and struggled with Ibanez and Mohamed Suleiman. Mohamed Suleiman did really well to contain him. It felt like Mohamed Suleiman actually decided, after Ibanez's difficulties with Musa Diaby, to stay put rather than going out there to help out Khaleno and overlap Khaleno. And then in the end, round about the 74th minute, I believe, fantastic ball by Saleh Al-Shehri into Musa Diaby. Now, I've said this and I'll say it again, and I'll continue to say it for as long as we do lives. Players like Saleh Al-Shehri and Al-Dosari that we watched for Hilal yesterday, some of these players need to get the recognition that they deserve. Some of these players need to get the eyeballs and the attention. It's all well and good getting the big boys into the league, such as the Benzemas and Ronaldos and Tonys and Diabys. But these guys also deserve to get a shout out. And I think that's when the Saudi Pro League will get the respect that it deserves globally as well. Because that was a fantastic cross-in to set up Diaby for his goal on the 74th minute. It felt like he got if I can remember correctly, he was edge of the box, grabbed the ball onto his right, and he's put that arrowing pass right through to Diaby. Diaby's touched it on his right, and he's headed it. He's put Ittihad 1-1. At this point, the second half was absolutely lively, I must say. And you're thinking Mohamed Al-Mahasna, Ittihad's goalkeeper, he was already the second choice goalkeeper, but he was struggling. He was struggling big time. And that's why towards the second half, actually, in the 69th minute after that goal, 19-year-old third choice goalkeeper Hamid Al-Shamqiti had to come on. I must say he's a very confident young man, very tall young man. Super proud moment for him and his entire family. I don't think they were prepared for him to come on. So a little bit of a heart in the mouth moment. It's bittersweet because, you know, it's fantastic for him to come on, but it's a big, big game. Al Ittihad, top of the league, trying to get that win and Diaby did his job. So that was 1-1. And we're thinking, okay, where do we go from here? And then the man who was scoring goals for absolute fun in the Premier League, a man that I was actually quite glad to see the back of in the Premier League. I think I was in the mind of either he comes to Arsenal or he gets the hell out of there. And I'm so glad that he came to the Saudi Pro League for me to be able to cover his journey again, because he's been loitering the entire first half and the second half. A little bit quiet in the first half, I must say, but in the second half, he was just trying to sniff away opportunities. Khaleno, who played fantastically well, just not able to find him on a few occasions. Kessie trying as well, Viega trying as well. And Mahrez was a little bit quiet for my liking, even though his corners felt like Bukayo Saka. Every time Bukayo Saka takes a corner, it's a heart in the mouth moment for the opposition fans. And today it felt exactly like that for Mahrez. But outside the free kicks or the corners, I felt like he could have done a little bit more for Ivan Toney. But anyway, Ivan Toney is the kind of guy that you pay big bucks for, as Al Ahli have done. And the reason they paid big bucks for this guy is what he did at the 82nd minute. Comes on, it was already on, but takes the ball. It was a little bit scruffy, to be perfectly fair, but when it counts and when he's needed in this prestigious Jeddah derby at the King Abdullah Sports City Stadium, his first ever derby, the man came to life. Big boys, big strikers need one moment and it's finished. That's exactly what he did. The stadium was rocking. You'd think the Ittihad fans would travel back home. You'd think the Ittihad fans would give up. But no, they didn't. Even though the entire stadium was rocking, even though the flags were out, even though the bins, even more bin bags came out. And again, tell me what on earth these bin bags are about. In the chat, let me know. What are these bin bags about, man? Across all our socials as well. We had these black and white bin bags, sorry, black and green bin bags. And then we had these yellow bin bags that were all thrown onto the stadium, which a little bit, I don't know, felt like the Colosseum when the emperor brings out his hand and says, I don't know, puts his thumb down to say, finish him off. That's what it felt like to me. So let me know what the bin bags were about, because that would help. So we've got Abd there with a green heart. I'm guessing Ahli fan. As an Ahli player or an Ahli fan, you must be really happy today because the big boys have come into town. Ahli are big boys themselves, but the league leaders have come into town and to their patch and to their turf of Jeddah to try and get another 3 points so they could go on to dominate the league after Al Hilal's lost to Ronaldo's Nasser yesterday. But it wasn't meant to be. So I understand. And I think, look, for Al Hilal and Al Ahli today, who played today, their eyes and focuses onto the Champions League. But that was 2-1 to Ahli. And you think the moment's over. But I saw a glimpse in Karim Benzema's eyes. There was a moment in that game, he looked at the likes of Diaby and the likes of Awar and Kante and Fabinho and the young Abdullah Al-Amiri who came on, and he just put his fingers to his head to say, boys, focus. And that's what separates players that are good and then impeccable. Benzema, somebody who has done it on the highest of levels, understand that the game is not over until the game is over. And that's exactly what happened. Abdullah Al-Amiri, again, just like Salah Al-Shahri, deserves a lot of praise and a lot of the ball he played into Benzema, plus 4th minute. By the way, there was 13 minutes, 12 to 13 minutes added into this game, which I'm sure the Ahli fans will not be too happy about. But it's a catch-22 if you make fouls and waste time when you're winning 2-1. Don't be surprised when you get 12 to 13 minutes at a time, and that's exactly what happened. 12 to 13 minutes at a time, and the attacking Abdullah Al Amiri gets the ball on the right hand side as if he's going to um, uh, uh, go around the right and maybe cut back in and give it into Fabinho or Awar or Kante. Instead, he's right here. There's about 3 to 4 players on his left hand side. And then in the furthest peripheral, there is Karim Benzema. I don't know how he did it. Fantastic through ball into Benzema, and he gets that ball in. It's gone in between, like a slalom, it's gone in between all the players. And Benzema must have dreamt about a night like this before. And all, I mean, a moment like this all last night. It's coming onto his left foot, ketchup mayo on a plate. How do you want it? It's a chip shot. It's not a full-on chip like that, but it's a high-end finish, high-end quality player, and a player that the Saudi Pro League do not want to do without for a very, very long time. 2-2, absolute bedlam at the Ittihad section of the stadium, going berserk at the 90 plus 4th minute. And again, you'd think the Ahli fans would be disheartened. You think they'd empty the stadium. You think the boys from the other side of Jeddah have come and they are not only going to get something out of the game, excuse me, but they also could potentially go on to win the league. But that wasn't the case. The Ahli fans were giving it their all. And honestly, that's the kind of game, covering the games that I did yesterday, Ahli versus Nasser, the likes of Mitrovic and Neves against Duran and Ronaldo, and the 3-1 victory against my boys, Ahli, Hilal, against Nasser. Covering that kind of game was fantastic. That's the kind of game I dreamt of being able to cover. And then to be treated to this kind of Jeddah spectacle, in the end, I wish Ahli got the victory, because that would have meant that for us as Hilal fans, we would have still had an opportunity to maybe possibly pip Ittihad in the league, but it wasn't meant to be. Ittihad have come to Ahli, and they've come to the King Abdullah Sports City Stadium, and they've got something out of the game. 5 points clear at the top of the table. Can they be stopped? We don't know. For us as Al Hilal fans, and also the host today, Ahli, it's more focused now on the Champions League. Ittihad, for Benzema, it looks like the title could leave Hilal and go to Ittihad. My key takeaways from the game: the atmosphere was nuts. The players gave it their absolute all, playing in that kind of humidity this time of the year, and the intensity and the level they're playing at. This is why we've started the Saudi PL Central channel. Keep up to date with us. Subscribe, give it a like, follow us on all channels. We're going to be giving you live watch-alongs every single week of some of the best games. We're also going to be covering some of the relegation battles, because we need to know who is going to stay in the league. At the moment, in 16th position, Al Fateh, 17th, Al Wahda, and then 18th, Al Raid. To be fair, Al Fateh have just 1 point less than Al Ukhdud, and just 3 points less than Al Fayha, sorry. So still all to play for, and only 4 points behind Al Urubah. But this is why we're covering this league. If you're an English-speaking fan, make sure you're here every week to watch some of the most exciting Saudi Pro League games. We're going to be covering you player interviews. We're going to be bringing you manager interviews, transfer news, potentially, hopefully, making and breaking some of our own transfers to come, and potentially in the off season or the pre-season, giving you live and exclusive access, potentially, hopefully, with some of the teams. Imagine traveling with the likes of Cristiano Ronaldo, understanding his diet. How is he still where he's at the age of 40? Being your man, the main man for today, the gentleman. This is the Saudi PL Central, and thank you for joining us this weekend. We've got so much more fun live watch-alongs, guests coming on, world records to be broken. So see you next week. Take care. Bye-bye.